in the recent past and subsequently making Ghana proud. President Akufo-Addo made the announcement when the executives and some players and technical officials of the Ghana Rugby Football Union paid a courtesy call on the president at the Jubilee House. Laying out the achievements of the association and its teams, the president of the GRFU, Herbert Mensah, showcased some of the trophies to the president and enumerated the achievements during the tenure of President Akufo-Addo.
But it is key to us that we've been able to get this recognition today, to be able to present to you, Your Excellency, the 4 trophies. We believe that rugby, in the union form, is the most successful team sport in Ghana over the last 4 years. We've won the West Africa 1D. We have won the Bronze Cup, in which we defeated Mauritius in the final. We also, in 2019, the ladies, for the first time ever, went to Tunisia. And for some, it was the first trip, and they won the Challenge Trophy, beating Zambia, who were very highly ranked in the final. The men, at the third time, then went to South Africa, and they also won the Challenge Trophy. So during your tenure, Your Excellency, we've been able to win the 4 trophies. And we are very proud, and we are very honored that we've been allowed to come.
Herbert Mensah was full of appreciation for the efforts of the president to uplift sports and its development across the country.
Again, break protocol and ask for your assistance, Mr. President. Rugby, the gentlemen and men here today have trained 10,000 Ghanaian school children, quite often those who do not have to play rugby. We are limited in our growth and would have liked to ask if we could ask the Honourable Minister responsible for education to add rugby as part of the national curriculum. It will not cost them money, but it will mean that every time we approach a school, they will not say, we cannot move without a letter from the Ghana Education Service. It will be touch rugby, getting into rugby principle, so there will be no injuries, but it will provide the important tenets of integrity, teamwork, discipline, that rugby separates rugby from other sports.
President Akufo-Addo, on his part, congratulated the team for the renown done to Ghana and called on other sports disciplines to take a leaf from the example of rugby football, especially in the area of education.
If I hear Mr. Mensah correctly, he says this is the most successful team sport in the last 4 years in Ghana. It means in my period as president, you have been the most successful team sport. So it makes you a very special people to me. And I want, first of all, to congratulate you on the efforts that you have been making that has brought all this renown and success to our country. And it's very encouraging that it is done both by men and by women. The men are succeeding and the women are succeeding. I like the idea also that you've opened the doors of rugby to all people, that it's not just people going to privileged schools, etc., but everybody, ordinary people, having access to the sport. It's very encouraging, and I think it's something that you should be very commended for arriving at such a situation. I want to encourage you. And our lady here, our mother here, who looks after all of us at the presidency, the chief of staff, she's saying that from her very limited budget, she's going to be able to find a reasonable amount of seed money to help you for meeting the cost of camping, and also providing a little incentive for you, especially now you've brought to us these 4 cups. So she's asked me to be able to tell you that she's going to make available to you 100,000 United States dollars.
He expressed his support for the idea of developing a strong rugby foundation in Ghana and used the occasion to announce a $100,000 reward package to the association in recognition of their efforts.
Eba, 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 eba.
The The Attorney General has dragged former Finance Minister Dr. Kwabena Duffuor and former Second Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Mr. Johnson Asiama, to court over the collapse of defunct Unibank. Dr. Duffuor has been charged with money laundering and dishonestly receiving, while Dr. Asiama has been charged with willfully causing financial loss to the state. The charge sheet signed by the Director for Public Prosecutions, Mrs. Yvonne Atakra Ubobisa, was filed at the Accra High Court on Wednesday, February 5, 2020. Other accused persons named in the criminal case filed at the Accra High Court are the son of Dr. Duffuor, Dr. Kwabena Duffuor II, who was the CEO of Unibank before it collapsed, and other executives of the bank. The others are Ekonyako Dadzi Dennis, the Chief Operating Officer for the bank, Elsie Danswachere, Executive Head of Corporate Banking, Jeffrey Amon, Senior Relationship Manager, Benjamin Ofori, Executive Head of Credit Control, and Kojo Opoku Oko, Financial Control Manager. The other accused persons have been slapped with several charges, including fraudulent breach of trust, money laundering, conspiracy to commit crime, and the contravention of the Bank of Ghana Act. In a related development, the Attorney General has filed new charges at the Accra High Court against Prince Kofi Amwabeng, the founder of the defunct UT Bank, over the collapse of the bank. The charge sheet filed at Accra High Court on Wednesday named accused persons Dr. Johnson Asiama, a former Second Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Raymond Amanfo, a former head of the Banking Supervision Division of the Bank of Ghana, Catherine Johnson, head of Treasury of the UT Bank, Robert Kwesi Ama, General Manager of Corporate Banking of UT Bank and UT Holdings, the parent company of UT Bank. Dr. Asiama and Amanfo have been charged with willfully causing financial loss to the state, while Amwabeng and the other accused persons have been charged with various offences such as fraudulent breach of trust, deceit of a public officer, fabrication of evidence, among other charges. Member of Parliament for Najoli Kaleo constituency in the Upper West region, Alban Kingsford Sumani Bagben, has heaped praises on President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo for his determination in continuing a project that was initiated by the erstwhile National Democratic Congress NDC administration in 2012 but abandoned. President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo was part of his tour of the Upper West region on Tuesday, February 4, 2020, cut the sword for the construction of two solar power plants in Kaleo and Laura, all in the Upper West region, under the 17 megawatt peak solar power project. According to the president, the project reaffirms the commitment of his government to diversify the country's energy generation portfolio and thereby help increase the renewable energy component of Ghana's energy mix and contribute to her fight against the effects of climate change. With the solar project coming on the heels of construction of the Kpaolugu multi-purpose dam and irrigation project, the 17 megawatt project is being funded by the German government's development bank KfW at a cost of 22.8 million euros. He stated that the project will see the construction of a 13 megawatt peak project in Kaleo and 4 megawatt peak project in Laura. These solar power plants, the first of its kind in the Upper West region, would mean that this region also has its fair share of power generation assets in the country.
The world's largest medical drone service company, Zipline, says it will start delivering medical supplies via drones in the northern part of Ghana by end of February. This was disclosed by Simon Aseno, the community lead for Zone 3 Zipline Technology at Vopsi in the Northeast region. The center, which will be run by an all-Ghanaian crew of engineers, health professionals and logistics personnel, will deliver 148 medical products, including blood and life-saving medicines, to about 500 health facilities across the Savannah, Northern, Northeast and Upper East regions. He gave the assurance that, irrespective of the location of the operations center, all the designated points of delivery will be served. He noted that within the 80-kilometer radius, Boku, parts of Garu, Navrongo, Fumbisi and all places that were farther away from the center were covered, adding that the radius of coverage actually allows Zipline to reach many health facilities. The zone leader said one of the biggest challenges the country faced was access to vital medicines on time and stressed that the benefits of the service were enormous. Simon Aseno emphasized that the most important aspect of the technology was the speed in the delivery of medical products and the capacity of the sick to access healthcare irrespective of their location in any part of the country. He said there were some misconceptions among some sections of Ghanaians during the initial stages of the introduction of the concept, but indicated that people were beginning to realize the usefulness of the technology, which would help strengthen the public health system. He also said they had begun with regional entries to ensure that regional stakeholders were aware of the technology and will soon move to sensitize members of the public at the various community levels and also engage the media to spread information about the technology. The Ghana drone service was commissioned in April 2019, with President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo launching the first ever medical drone service in Ghana and the largest such drone delivery network in the world at Ominako near Suhum in the eastern region. Subsequently, in September, the second drone center was commissioned at Mampong in the Ashanti region.
Ghana and the State of Israel have signed a Memorandum of Understandings (MOU) to strengthen cybersecurity in the country. The MOU was signed in Tel Aviv, Israel, where Ghana's Minister of Communications, Esla Owusu-Ekufo, has led Ghana's delegation to take part in the 3-day Cybertech Global 2020 conference, which took place last week in Tel Aviv, Israel, from 28 to 30 January 2020. The delegation was made up of representatives of the National Cybersecurity Center, National Communications Authority, National Information Technology Agency, and members of the Guinean business community. David Amsalem and Digal Yuna, head of Israel National Cybersecurity Directorate, signed the MOU on behalf of Israel. Mrs. Owusu-Ekufo signed on behalf of Ghana. The agreement focuses on cooperation to strengthen cybersecurity and cooperation between the two countries in the fields of telecommunications, post and information technologies. To boost cooperation to strengthen cybersecurity between the two countries, the MOU recognizes that the proper functioning and security of the digital environment are essential to the performance of economies and societies and stimulate growth, innovation, well-being and inclusiveness. The MOU also highlights the role of public and private organizations in managing cybersecurity risk, as well as the pivotal role of governments in developing and deploying policy measures, tools, regulatory and operational responses to mitigate cybersecurity risk. It provides opportunities for capacity building, which will complement the work that the government of Ghana, through the Ministry of Communications, has already started. Ghana will also be able to explore areas of cooperation and seek further ways of sharing and exchanging information, especially on cybersecurity incidents, as an early warning system which threatens the digital ecosystem. This year's conference on cybersecurity, under the banner Cybertech 2020, attracted high-level government officials, technocrats, experts and business leaders from across the world to deliberate on common challenges facing their countries, organizations, and devise strategic policies to combat cybercrime worldwide. Mrs. Owusu-Ekufo noted that technology and processes alone are not enough to protect the citizens of Ghana and Israel, and stressed the need to develop the necessary human resource base to support the processes. Ghana therefore would seek support from Israeli universities and institutions, the minister said, to train Ghanaian officials by means of academic exchanges and professional development courses. The minister also said the MOU was expected to further support Ghana's development in cybersecurity, as the proposed cybersecurity bill is expected to be passed into law this year, as well as fully operationalize the national cybersecurity policy and strategy. It is envisaged that the MOU will complement national efforts, especially in the area of cybersecurity research and development, towards achieving self-reliance and building export of cybersecurity products and services in the sub-region. Under cooperation in the fields of telecommunications, post and information technologies, both countries agreed on the basis of equity, reciprocity, and mutual benefit to develop telecommunications and postal services between the two countries in accordance with the provisions in the MOU. The MOU is also expected to facilitate further discussions between Ghana and the State of Israel on the development of telecommunications and information technologies. The Ministry of Communications has also taken certain steps in the past 3 years to scale up cybersecurity across all sectors of the Ghanaian economy. The government has established both a Computer Emergency Response Team, SET, and the Security Operations Center, SOC, for both the telecommunications and financial sectors, two critical areas of the digital ecosystem.
$10块、11块、12块、13块、30块、20块。
Language is the strongest tool that equips businesses, which is why NET2 TV brings to you